I'd like to introduce Wendy to everybody. I just met her. Well, everybody knows who I am except this gentleman. I'm Clay Logan, and this is Melvin Campbell. We was born and raised here in Brasstown. The folk school got about a 21-year jump on me, because it was 21-year-old when I was born. So, but I got here as quick as I could, you know, when I was big enough to walk and to come over to get my education here at the folk school, which was very interesting to me, because we got to make the little paper crochet dolls, you know, it had the fingers. You know, they probably don't make that now. They got something more more elaborate now. But we made the little doll head, and it's hard as a rock, and then we get in a fight with it and take it away from it. But anyhow, my family, my grandpa was Jim and Ada Zimmerman. They lived just across the creek over here. It ain't a white house now, it was a little white house and barn across the road. But it's exciting time for me when I growed up. But you probably know the history of the folk school more. Fredo Scroggs, he was the man of the hour in Brasstown. He owned the store, and he was big in politics. He was big in Rockhound. He was big in his community, and he was just the leader. And he's the Campbells that met with him 2 or 3 times before all this come together. I think like maybe about 3 years they came down early and done all this. And Fredo managed to persuade, I guess, the rest of his family to donate, I think it's about 20 acres of land right here to get this started. And he, like I say, he was the pillar of the community, because back then they get orders from Atlanta, Georgia, that they needed 100 bushel of walnuts or some kind of nuts like that. And they'd come through Fredo, and he'd they pay $1 a bushel. So he'd get people to pick it up for 50 cents a bushel. He'd get 50 cents. So.
Did you know him?
Fredo?
Yeah.
Just knowed him. That's all. I was pretty young. But he did all kinds of stuff like that. Like I say, he was the pillar. And then the co-op came to town. I guess the co-op was formed because maybe the dairy farm, and they didn't have nowhere to sell their milk around here. So the Mountain Valley Co-op was formed back around the 25, somewhere along in there. And it used to be in that little rock building right there when you turn up Ceddywick on the right. And
Creamery Road.
No.
Okay.
The building,
I know
the building they built to take care of the milk and stuff was up at the creamery, up at, and they had hauled their milk in there in them 5-gallon big old metal pails. I'm sure, you know, just all got one to put your umbrellas in now, you know. But that's how that got started. And it was a co-op, so you could buy stock in it. And Melvin asked me the other day, well, why would anybody want to buy stock in it? I said, well, it had a little money. And if you was a stockholder, then you could borrow money out of it. Say you was wanting to order 50 chickens from Sears and Roebuck, you know, and you could pay them, and then when your chickens growed out or started laying, you pay it back. So everybody had $1 or $2. My daddy had, I've still got mine. My daddy's stock under glass, and he bought $1 worth. And then if you ever need to borrow any money, they can do that. But that's pretty neat. That's about the same thing as a bank, but it's got carried away now, ain't it? You couldn't go up there and say, give me $20 or buy something. You can't go to the bank now and say that. But anyhow, there's some more Scroggies that had a lot of influence around here. We had Waldo. I don't know where Waldo was the mean one in the crowd. Everybody scared to death of him. He is a mechanic. He used to have a building. I've got a picture up at the community center that on this side, from my store out there about 50 or 75 feet, he had a store right there. It wasn't a store, it was a garage. And they said Waldo furnished a lot of things that Fredo didn't. He said he was a mechanic, and he furnished alcohol, moonshine, and he said they thought there's always some ladies of the night hanging around there. So he covered everything on that side. Of course, that was on Cherokee County side. That wasn't on our side. But he got the name for it. They said he pulled up one night right here at a dance night on a Friday night on his old T-model. Set out a half a gallon of moonshine, took him a swig of it and set it on the running board. He come on in and danced 2 or 3 times, and he went out to get him a swig, and it was gone, you know. So he come back in and he said, if that half gallon of moonshine ain't sitting on that board, somebody's going to pay for it dearly here tonight. So after he danced, he went back outside and there's 3 half a gallons there. That's how they skewered of him. But he ended up getting killed right down here on Dewsonbury Hill. You know where that's at? It's the little hills when you cross the bridge and you go across where everybody gets stuck when it snows. Yeah. That's called Dewsonbury. I thought you know that, David. It's called Dewsonbury Hill. Well, one of the Claytons, J.D. Clayton and Ronnie Clayton, one of the Claytons was up there in town that night in Murphy. And Waldo was drunk and going to kill everybody. They was going to lock him up. And Waldo, Clayton said, I'm trying to think of his first name. It's like Toby or something. Clayton, he said, I'll just put him in the car. I'm going home to Brasstown. I'll take him home. Well, they got in a big fight before he got about there at Dewsonbury Hill, and he threatened that he's going to kill him. So they got in a fight, and he got stabbed in the neck, lived about 2 or 3 days, and he died, and the Clayton that done it left town, and nobody's ever seen him since, so that solved that problem, you know.
So Waldo was his last name or his first name?
Waldo was his first name.
Right.
Waldo Orange.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Another little story. Bassart, I've got if you just want to see a grist mill, the old one, it's the grist mill that I carried corn to when I was a boy. It originally started up there at the Coverdale. If you turn in Creamery, that road's Creamery Road now, but it used to be called Peter Patch. That was the name of the road back then. And when they started naming roads, somebody didn't know the original name, and they called it Creamery Road. But the old grist mill was sitting right there in the bank right beside that spring, or branch, and they had a hit and miss motor on it, pulley. And then later on in the 40s, they brought it on down to the Brasstown right there. It was the building, if you come down Suttywig and stopped, is the building right straight in front of it. It's gone now. But it was right there. And I used to take corn down there. And so in the, I guess, mid-60s, they decided to wasn't no demand. Everybody by himself rising flyer in town.
The bass had a stroke too.
Do I?
Bass had a stroke too.
Yeah, that's
He couldn't
true.
work anymore.
So anyhow, the Irons gave it to folk school. And I got to asking about it about, I believe, 2014. And Ida Iron, she told me, said, well, we give that to folk school. They've got it over there. And I said, well, I've been never building over there, and I ain't never seen it. Well, I come to find out it was in that little building right beside the museum. Right there, was it a little horse barn, or, but it's stuck off back in there in the corner. So I come and asked if I could get it and restock it, start using it. And they, yeah. So I have it down there in my little mill house down there at the store. So I grind them a little bit every now and then. I don't know whether they get around to cooking it or not. They say they do, but you know, you gotta have a special recipe for it. But at least I furnish them some corn. But that's anybody got any questions? My mind's not coming up with nothing right now. Nobody got no questions? What I'm gonna talk about? Virginia, you look like you've got one.
I'm just waiting to hear what's next.
Did Dale Green have a mill too?
Dale Green had a mill, yeah, up at his house.
Yeah.
He had 2 or 3 mills. He had little mills he had on a little trailer, and he'd go around to these events and grind corn and stuff.
Who?
Dale Green.
Yeah.
Dale did, yeah. But the folk school, it's the same thing when it started that it is now, but it's different. Does that make sense? Because when it started back in the 25, they had cooking classes, and I mean, these gals up in these hollers, you know, they didn't know much about real cooking, you know. I mean, they could fry a tater, make cake of cornbread, and that's probably about all they had to eat. But they taught them, you know, they taught them how to can, and it was in the men, they had all kinds of programs, house buildings, you know, sawmilling. The extension service came over here a lot back in the early days when it first got started, and teaching men how to do things, you know, farm, proper way to farm and stuff. So, like I say, it's the same thing now that it was back then, only it's different. But now it's commercialized now. They got to have the money to keep the thing going. Back then, you know, we didn't have much money to keep it going. They didn't have all these buildings, and probably didn't have but about 2 employees. And of course, you dairy it. I guess the dairy kept it going for a long time. Back when it started in 25, we had 35 dairy farms in Clay County, and now we have 0. But the dairy, the folk school was good to me, because when I turned 16, I got a job milking cows on the weekend over here. So I was making big money. And it worked a lot of people. I guess it worked about 6 or 8 boys over the summers here, you know, not counting, they used to grow tomatoes here commercially. So I got to work in that one summer, you know.
Did you do stuff here before you were 16?
Ma'am?
Did you come over before you were 16
Son,
to do things?
honey, I was over here just quick as I could walk.
And what kind of stuff were you doing?
Back then,
Yeah.
I was just taking all these little classes for little kids,
Yeah.
you know, and just learning. And I never missed what they call it back in, little folk school?
Yeah.
Now it's what, little middle or something?
middle.
Yeah, it's little folk school. I never missed one of them. Never missed a dance summer here for
Oh, yeah.
15 or 20 years. Got good enough. Marguerite would let me go to Berea. I got to dance up there for a week. Got to dance at the Craftsman's Fair for a week. That's a job. You think it's fun, but you dance 2 hours from 10 to 12, and And from 2 to 4 and 6 to 8, about Tuesday and Wednesday, you're shot. Anybody here get to do that? Nobody here at that time, was it?
Yeah.
That damn time.
So, was it a team dancing, or, I mean, these were performances you're talking about, right?
No, it was just a group. It was like, we may have went as a team. You know, it was me and Bill Tipton and Barbara and Sandy Zinneman,
Wayne Holland, was Wayne?
Wayne Holland,
Yeah.
and Wayne Holland too. Sometimes he'd go in the summertime. So there's just like 6 or 8 of us went. And then we went from Christmas to New Year's too. So we got to go twice.
Wow.
But Marguerite would jump on me all the time because I would come in here and start dancing and have my shirt tail out. She'd stop the dance and say, "Clay, please put your shirt tail in."
Oh, yeah, you had to be good.
Or if I missed a turn, if I turned right and supposed to turn left, she said, "Clay, hold your left hand up," and I'd have to dance. But she was good to me though, real good to me. But like I say, carving, I had an aunt and uncle that Bonnie and Hayden Hensley, they carved for 40, 50 years, I guess. I read something there, it said where they lived. It said this is the house that Carvin built. You know, they made enough money along to build that house up, you know. So, Melvin?
You ready for
So-
that?
I've told everything. Ma'am?
So, what about putting up the food? There used to be the cannery,
Yeah.
and you could bring your own vegetables and whatever, and they would put them up. I bet that was big in the community, canning.
Yeah.
It helped a lot of people, didn't it? Canning.
Yeah, I don't know why they shut it down.
I don't either. That was a big help.
It was,
We took bushels of apples and applesauce
what was the
and beans,
guy?
100 quarts of beans at
Oh,
a
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bring it here and they'll do it. It
And Mona Cook, she worked over
Yeah.
there.
Big guy said to the county,
What?
who was the colonel,
What?
or captain or colonel that was the director here about that time? From Murphy. Seemed like he used to be the county manager down there one time.
Oh, yeah.
Who?
Ron Hill.
Ron Hill. He's the one that sold it or give it to the Cherokee County. And they was gonna set it up down there,
Oh, the candy.
down 64.
Oh, yeah, right, the farmer's
And it
market.
never got set up.
Yeah,
Never did,
I know.
so.
I don't, I remember the cannery real well. I remember
Yeah.
when they built it. I don't think it ever went over big. I know my folks would go over there and can, they did some, but they quit canning over there, and I don't really know why, but,
Oh,
you know, when they first opened it up, it was lined up with people to can,
yeah.
and they just kind of drifted away and didn't come back, and it just,
Oh.
it didn't go over big.
So it didn't go over.
Yeah, I think that's why they closed it.
Was that the building that became the Namlin Studio?
It's up there right behind the sawmill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ron may have just used that as a way to get the building built. You know, I mean, did he get some help on building that building?
Yeah.
With the
At
cannery
the
running?
farmer
Yeah,
market.
I don't know.
Probably.
And
I got one more little story about, I had an uncle that took surveying, they taught surveying here too. I've seen some pictures. I think she put one in there.
Yeah.
It shows them around, and one of them could have been my uncle, I don't know. But he took surveying, and he got killed under the bridge down here. The old bridge at the county line, they're gonna tear down.
Yeah.
He got killed under there, got shot,
Hot.
and
Somebody shot him.
they never found him till, that was in July. They found him in February. back, you know, where the talc mines is at,
Yeah.
below Murphy there, or in Murphy really, ain't it?
Huh,
Some squirrel hunter found his remains. And my first cousin was about 6-year-old, 7-year-old, when that happened. And he had took him to Murphy that Saturday, and he got killed that Saturday night. And bought him, you know, the Long Ranger cap and the little vest and the gloves and the guns and everything. And he bought himself a cap or a hat. You know, people wore hats a lot back then, good hats.
yeah,
But it's too big for him, and he had to put, you know, we always folded newspaper up,
Yeah.
put the brim of your hat. Everybody's done that, and get it to fit.
right.
And they found that hat, and they got Jack Wimpy. You all know Jack, didn't you? A lot of you had the racetrack.
Who was it?
Jack Wimpy.
Wimpy.
That was
Yeah.
the little boy he took with him down there.
Huh,
And Jack identified the hat. Is how they started
Wow.
identifying who he was.
how about that?
Just one of them things.
Let's see, what about Monroe and Ellie?
Monroe,
He came here, didn't
Eddie come from Boston, I
he?
believe,
New York.
New York, and he hauled her in here.
Yeah,
He had to go get her on the Folk School's ton truck and it loaded down with something. And he hauled her up here. Now, he worked at the dairy and at the
Yeah.
farm and all around. So he
Yeah.
stayed 3 or 4 years, 4 or 5 years. And then they got sort of struck it off and they got married, and then she stayed here.
she's,
She was a sweet lady.
yeah.
Monroe was from LJ, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hemptown.
Hmm?
Hemptown.
Hemptown.
That's where his folks
I've
were.
still got her old canner
You do?
that I still use.
Well.
You know, Danny was
Yeah,
cleaning it out and said, I don't want this, and I said, I do.
yeah.
You know, it's the one that's got the old little temperature gauge on it. Most
Yep.
of them don't have that now.
How about
And
that?
you can still get the seals and everything for it.
Yeah.
And the good part about it, it's got it's got wood handles on it,
Well.
because it don't transfer the heat. These you get now gets so hot you can't touch it.
Right.
And it's still
You
got
still
them.
have her.
Still got it. I use it every summer.
So what about their kids?
The
Do
kids,
they have any Florence and,
they had
John?
2 kids.
are they around or not?
No,
No.
they had 2
They
kids and
sold their
adopted 2
whole
kids.
property, huh?
Yeah, they ended up, well, not all of it. They kept a little bit on the,
On the house?
no,
No?
over,
Toward
like,
the graveyard.
after you going out of Brasstown around the curve, they kept
Yeah,
6 or 8 or 10 acres right
they
there.
did, so the kids
But
have
they
that.
sold everything else, yeah.
Aw.
They didn't have no reason to stay when Danny died, you know.
Well, I know.
That's what kept it together till he passed away.
Yeah, I
But,
thought they came back some.
oh, they come a summer or 2 like everybody does.
Yeah.
And then, you know, all their kids and everything's up there.
Ann and John and Florence.
And John, Florence,
Danny.
and Danny.
And Dan,
Yeah.
See, 2 of them was adopted and 2 of them
I know.
was
Yeah.
had. Danny and Florence.
And Ann were adopted.
Danny and Ann,
Ann.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
Then all of a sudden they had John
yeah,
and
Yeah.
Florence.
yeah. They didn't
Yeah.
have them for a long time,
Yeah,
so.
Ellie went to school at Vassar.
Ma'am,
Vassar, she went to school at Vassar.
Ellie did.
Yeah. yeah,
Yeah.
Sure did.
she come from big money.
She got from me. Yeah, she
She come from, what they used to say, come from old money.
Oh,
I don't know how big it was. It come from old money,
I know.
yeah.
Highly educated too.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
yeah.
yeah.
Fine, they were fine people. Our
Yeah,
first friends, yeah.
Yeah. Now Mercer, we hadn't talked about Mercer.
Mercer, yeah.
Mercer's Crops.
Mercer, he ran the store when we got here.
He was a dandy.
Yeah,
You know, when he died, about a month later, J.D. Robinson come by the store
yeah.
and talking to Judy, and J.D. said, you know, there ain't been no controversy, nobody fighting each other, nobody doing nothing. What's going on? Judy said, Mercer died.
Mercer's gone. He ran for president, did he? I still have the newspapers.
Yeah, we ran him for president.
They still have the newspapers.
On the possum party ticket.
Yeah, the Possum Party.
The Possum Party.
And he got
A
people.
lot of votes.
He got as many electoral votes as Purdue. What was his name?
Perot.
Perot.
Yeah.
He got as many electoral votes as Perot got.
Yeah.
So neither one of them got one. But Mercer started getting checks, money sending to him for his
election.
campaign. And he said, well, I'll spend these. I said, no, you're not cashier. You get us in big trouble. You send them checks back. He wanted to keep the money, and I made him send it back. But, Mercer was a big influence around here. Everybody liked him,
Yeah. Everybody
got a
liked
big-
him. Well, now, you ought to tell people about when the TV stations came from Atlanta to do the possum drop. I mean, you put Brasstown on the map. I don't know if that's the history, but what about those screens that were as big as this barn, huh? They
Well, we
came
had
down
to-
and put you on TV,
The crowd,
worldwide.
the crowd got so big that
It was
they couldn't
huge.
see nothing, so we had to build them screens.
It was
but-
huge.
How we made the New York Times.
I know, right
is
here.
Myself and Chad Cook was coming out of Farses Creek, and we met these reporters from Atlanta,
Yeah.
young boys, and they wanted to know where Rudolph's
Oh, yeah,
camp was at.
yeah.
So we told them how to get there, and then we stand there talking and said, y'all come down and do an article on the possum drop this year, New Year's Eve. Come,
Yeah.
and that's in July.
Yeah,
Sure enough, that old boy showed up.
huge.
And he did this article begging. And he told me later that the New York Times couldn't decide whether to put it on the front page. I'm serious.
It's the truth.
On
It
the
was
front
biggest
page or
thing,
not.
I know.
So they didn't, but they put it on the inside page.
Yeah,
Just as you open it up, so that's just about as good. But
just
that's
about as good.
when, that's when Peter got in.
Oh, I know.
in it. So,
Put Brasstown right there, center stage. Everybody knows it.
we got to be known pretty good. Whether we wanted to or not. What's wrong with this thing?
Brasstown.
But after that, we had 3 lawsuits that we had to fight
Huh,
with Peter, and we lost the first one, but we won the other 2.
yeah.
And then Roger West and what's the other guy's name? Davis, Jim Davis. Remember him? He's a dentist out of
Dennis.
Franklin.
Okay,
He was the senator, and
Oh,
Roger
yeah.
West was representative.
yeah.
And they put a bill together to pass that you can do anything you want to a possum between January the 28th, December the 28th and January the 2nd. So that finally got Peter off my back.
That got passed.
Yeah.
Well, what about just taking care of the possum and feeding them? That didn't count, did it? You
Oh,
fed them and kept them warm and everything,
Hey,
didn't
let me
you?
tell you,
I know,
I had to build a box
yeah,
for wildlife specifications.
yeah.
It had to be 6 foot long, 4 foot high. Then I had to put another little box in there for his bed.
Yeah,
Then I had to put limbs in there for him to climb up and down.
so he can
And I
climb.
had to have him 2 apples a day,
2,
3 or 4 bananas,
wow,
lettuce, and stuff.
yeah.
And I said, well, we just give him dog. Oh no, you can't give him dog food. That'll kill him. That dog food ain't good for him. I mean,
Well, did you have to teach them tricks or anything, like
Well,
educate them?
let me tell you another thing.
Yeah.
That one night, we always turned them loose when they got through.
Yeah.
Everybody
You
was
let
pretty
them
well
free
grown.
and didn't get run over? or
Maybe
anything?
1 or 2 people there.
Yeah,
And we turned it loose.
and he wanted to go back in.
No, this time it started running across the road.
Oh,
And there was a car coming about there,
Well.
Suttywig.
yeah,
And Chad Cook reached, picked it up by the tail, carried it across the road.
huh,
and turned it loose. And I got a letter.
But you're not supposed to pick them up by
You
the tail.
can't pick them up by the tail, it traumatizes.
He shouldn't have
Now,
done
you
that.
remember that, you pick up a
Could have
pot.
done a lot more than traumatized.
Well, you have to grab him by his belly.
We don't supposed to be on, we supposed to be talking about the folk school. Well, that's just some of the things that
Well,
happen,
that
right?
was about right here at the folk
That
school.
was the results of the.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna let Melvin take over.
Okey doke.
All right, I'm gonna tell a few interesting things, hopefully, and maybe talk about some of these pictures. I wish these pictures, that we could get the thing just to advance, you know, while you could sit there and look at them. And
You
maybe
gotta push the button.
I can advance it myself, but it won't do it on its own.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
You can multitask.
what I want to talk about is my experience here at the folk school. I grew up here at the folk school. My grandfather was Oscar Campbell. He was the longtime blacksmith here at the school. He worked here, I think, 52 years before he retired. He started either in early 1926 or late 1925. He'd laugh and tell me how he got his job. He came over here one day and George Bishop was drawing water out of the well, and my grandpa said, you don't need some help, do you? And George said, well, yeah, I guess I could use some. And so he worked for 50 or 52 years. That's how he got his job. And I asked the question, you know, what did my grandpa make when he started the folk school? And as of yet, nobody has been able to find that answer. I'd really like to know. I bet he wasn't making $5 an hour when he retired in 1977 or 78.
Yeah, probably because minimum wage was.
I don't think they had minimum wage in
Well, I mean,
1926.
at that time,
Yeah.
They did. What'd they
In
was it?
68, it was $1.25 an hour.
Yeah. I worked over here when I was in high school on the NYC program, and it was a government program, and you could pretty well pick your own place, you know. It was a 501c3, and since it was close, I could ride here with my grandpa. I wanted to work here at the folk school. And so they put me with him, and he fired me about every day. We were like oil and water. He was a perfectionist, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
You know, now if he done it, he wanted it right. So that's kind of, he'd fire me and I'd come back the next day and he'd forget about it. So then he'd fire me again. Some of the things I wrote down, I don't think I'm going to talk about, because you can look up the history of the folk school, the Scroggs family, and who the directors were. I've got some stories that I want to tell. Talking about my grandpa, I know I'm kind of biased. One time I was in Texas about 25 or 30 years ago. It's a small town, and I went into a craft shop there. And when we walked through the door, the lady spoke to us and said, "How y'all doing?" And I said, "Good." And she said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "North Carolina." That's all I said. I didn't say Brasstown. And she said, "Well, my favorite place in the world is Brasstown, North Carolina." And I knew she had to know about the folk school.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, my grandpa was a blacksmith over there." And she looked real funny. And she said, "Well, what was his name?" I said, "Oscar Campbell." She looked really weird. And she said, "I've got a picture of him." And she did have a picture of him, and she got me to sign it. And that's just really weird to be that far from home, running into somebody that knows your grandpa. But you know, the folk school has a wide reach. Really, it's a worldwide reach, you know. I don't think there's a country out there that someone in that country don't know about the folk school. And it has had some kind of impact on their lives. Couple of interesting stories. Want to talk about this. I remember when my grandpa made this. I was about 6 or 7 years old. this guy came to him and wanted him to make it to go on his chimney on the outside. So he made it in his shop there at the house, and when he got it done, he hung it on the door, and he had linoleum on the door, you know, to kind of stop the wind. He hung it on the door and he spray painted it. And if that linoleum is still there on that door, the picture of that owl is still there. So I went with him and put it up at Warren when he put it up, and when I drive the school bus up through there, I'd always look for the house and wonder where the house was at. And I never did really know, because I was 6 or 7 years old when I went up there. So I retired from law enforcement. We was doing a drug bust. And I had the guy that was selling the drugs handcuffed in the back of my patrol car, sitting there, and so I just started walking around in his yard until somebody told me to take him on to jail. That owl was nailed up in a tree there in his yard. And so when I started to jail with him, I told him about the owl, my grandpa making it, and me watching him put it up. And he said that his father-in-law had bought that house and didn't like the owl and was cleaning it out and told him to take it to the dump. And he said, well, I'd like to have it. And he said, I brought it home and I nailed it up in the tree. So I said, I'd like to buy it. And he said, well, you can have it. And so after I got him in jail and got him locked up, I went back and got the owl. And, you know, around Clay County and Cherokee County, I saw a lot of my grandpa's work. There used to be a lot of it down there at the old Ivy Funeral Home. The lights, the banisters, Hickory Stand Methodist Church right now, the banisters up there my grandpa made, and I was with him when he put them in. And you know, I've been out and I've saw fire dogs and stuff like that, and pokers and stuff like that I know he made. I can spot his work a mile off. It's not like anybody else's work, and I've always said when I talk about my grandpa that, you know, you've got ornamental blacksmiths, but I never considered him an ornamental blacksmith. He was a functional blacksmith. If you needed a tool made, you just come and tell him what you want it to do and he could make it. And just like that, you know, that's what that man described and that's what he made. Back there in that glass bookcase, there's a drawing of candle stands and stuff like that, and it doesn't identify my grandpa as the one who drew it, but I know he did. Let's see, what else? Oh, Clay was talking about the man getting killed. Well, in the 30s, my grandpa was a deputy sheriff in Clay County. And at that time, the sheriff's department didn't have a telephone. And if you needed the law, the sheriff would appoint people in every community to be deputies. And so everybody down here at Brasstown knew that my grandpa was deputy down here. They knew where he lived at, and they knew where he worked at. And so if they needed the law, they come to his workplace or his home and got him. Back then it was different than now. You know, now people will call for any little thing, and you know, there'll be 3 or 4 cars arrive, you know, to try to help them. But back then it's just my grandpa down here at Brasstown showed up to help him. Talking about Monroe Wilson, I've got a picture at home of my grandpa teaching Monroe how to do blacksmithing. And I used to mow for Ann and all of them. After I retired, I've got a mowing business, and we're good friends. And Ann and him comes every year, and we always go out to eat. I see him every year, and I'm constantly texting Florence, and not so much John. And I was good friends with Danny. But when they'd sold everything out, Monroe's shop had an anvil in it. It was the anvil that my grandpa taught him blacksmithing lessons on, and I told Ann, I said, I'd like to have that anvil. There was so much stuff that they couldn't take back to up to Maryland, that they either had to take it to the dump or sell it or do something with it. And she said, well, you can have it. And so I've got that anvil, I've got it in my garage, and I use it now.
Yeah.
So that's some interesting stuff. I grew up over here, cut my teeth over here. About every one of these people that worked over here when I was coming run me off at least once or twice, because sometimes I could be aggravating. Right, Clay?
He's not talking.
Can't say something good, don't say nothing.
But, you know, every one of these people, you know, I grew up knowing, like Murray Martin. You know, she was in a basket weaving place down here, and Murray actually saved the folk school. Murray come from money. Y'all have heard of Black and Decker?
Yeah.
She was the Decker part.
Wow, how about
She was. And so when the folk school built the new dairy barn, they were about to go bankrupt.
Yeah.
And I'm talking any day now. And Murray and Dub gave the folk school $250,000, and that still didn't get them out of the hole. And a month or two later, they gave them $250,000 more.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they sure did.
How about
She saved the folk school.
She saved him.
Yeah, and they lived right over here in this house.
Yeah.
They did live on Mule Road, and Dub gave that house to Wayne Holland Jr., and then they moved into that house. It was owned by the folk school and still is, but that's where they lived until both of them passed
How
away.
about that?
Hmm?
That's something. I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah,
And they have, you can write a grant. They still have the Dub and
Murray Martin grant, yeah.
And that's so good, it helps.
Brasstown Fire, or Community Center gets a grant every year
Yeah,
on it. And
so
it
they're
is
still
good.
helping them.
Yeah.
And what about Esther and David? Esther was the director here, wasn't she?
Esther was for a while.
She did
yeah.
a lot of good,
Yeah.
didn't she?
She did. When I was a kid, David was always, he'd play Santa Claus.
Yeah,
And I'd come over here and I always knew who he was.
yeah,
I mean, I believed in Santa Claus, but I didn't believe it was him.
yeah,
But he was our mailman.
yeah. All right,
And I don't know if you know David, but he's crazy.
He'd walk right in your house and give you your mail. He
Yeah.
Didn't even
didn't
know.
even know,
Yeah.
he'd just come right in, wouldn't he?
Open the refrigerator,
Yeah.
Food and
Yeah.
everything.
David was a good one, though. There'll never be another David
No,
unless you
never
talk
be.
about bugs, and he's another David.
Yeah.
But I think that stops right there, maybe.
let me tell you a little story about, one day, some lady moved from Mason Road
Yeah.
over to the Green Cove,
Yeah.
and she was telling whoever the postmaster was there, and they said, okay. Well, she said, you're not gonna document it anywhere? He said, yeah. David, so-and-so moved from Mason Road over to the Green Cove. They said, okay, I'll take care of it. That's the document.
That's the way it
That's
is.
the way it's done back
And
then.
you got your
Yeah.
mail, didn't you?
I wanted to look through these pictures real quick, and if y'all have any questions or comments, just let me know. I picked this picture out. I want you to look at that house. You look at that
Look at the
ceiling.
roof, the ceiling.
Yeah.
Where is that?
Well, I don't know. It's just here in Brasstown.
Is where they live.
Virgil
The
Ledford and his wife making baskets.
That's little Brasstown, Martin's Creek.
Okay.
Martin's Creek.
Look, if my eyes deceiving me, but to the right of that mountain, is that a bunch of Indian relics,
No.
arrowheads and stuff?
I don't see
I
it.
don't
You
know.
see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, up on the
Just
mountain.
above the window.
Yeah.
That
Arrowheads.
Looks like arrowheads and stuff, don't
Yeah.
it?
I bet it's, we
Yeah.
got a lot of
I just-
arrowheads. They're around
But
here.
that's the way people lived back then, you know. Clay even said that that's the way he grew up. People would line their walls with newspapers.
Yeah.
And I remember houses
We
like
did
that.
too.
Cherokee Scout, we
Yeah.
can use this anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still have in our family that
This is Leon DeChamps, and I remember my grandpa talking about him, and the local people didn't call him DeChamps. It was Deshaun. Yeah, called him Mr. Deshaun. That's his wife. This here, I believe, is the Mountain Valley Creamery. Is that not right, Clay?
Yeah.
Colberry?
Colberry.
Yeah. That's when they were building it.
Where is that?
Down here across from Creamery Road on Old
It's the
64.
old
It's the gallery.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
gallery.
But I mean, yes,
Yeah.
the wooden structure,
They've torn part of it down. This rock structure that's facing this way, I believe, is all that's left standing. The other part out there, somebody hired Carl Green and he tore it down.
Oh,
And to the right of that rock building was where they pasteurized the milk, and there's a lot of machines in there, and I don't know what they did with the machines, but all that was torn down, and just that in the middle, I believe, is all that's still standing.
They made buttermilk, they did sweet milk, half a gallon, did a lot of them little half pints,
yeah.
mostly for
cute,
school, they had a big order,
Huh,
but they would make buttermilk out too.
I like buttermilk.
And then they made ice cream at one time.
yeah.
That's some more of the Mountain Valley dairy there.
Yeah.
This here, Clay, it identifies that person as Ralph Day and Bert with a question mark. Is that Bert Smith?
No,
It ain't. Okay.
Huh, and there's milk containers like you were saying.
yeah,
Yeah, that's down here at the old, it's blacksmith shop now, down
Oh,
there at
yeah.
the bottom of the hill on the
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So
All right.
people would put out milk cans as well as the folk school producing milk. Is that
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And they go around and pick up
yeah,
folks' milk every day
yeah.
and take it to the
Oh,
creamery.
did they pasteurize the folk school's milk?
They did everybody's milk to come in there.
Okay, but did the folks still use them?
Yeah, they didn't have no other place to send it.
Yeah,
Okay.
You know Joanne Jones?
Yeah.
Remember
I
him?
had a picture of him delivering milk.
He delivered milk in the 20s
yeah,
Yeah.
or early 30s.
how about
Yeah.
That's how he started.
Yeah.
This is people,
And that
students.
could have been one of my uncles right there. It could have been, because he took that class. And
survey?
that's about his age too.
Yeah,
My grandpa knew where all the water lines was at, and after he retired, people was always coming to his house and getting him to come to the school and show him where the water lines was
yeah,
at. I know when he's still working, I would go with him when he had to come over. He had to come and check the pump every day.
yeah.
And sometimes he'd have to walk up on the mountain to check the reservoir, and I'd walk up there with him. Now, me and Clay drove up there the other day to try to find the reservoir, and we couldn't find it. I don't know if they've torn it down and built a new one or what. It was a rock building, I believe.
Huh,
Where's it at?
It's straight up, they've got those two above ground tanks, but it's just right, if you were downhill looking up, it's just to the right of those two above ground tanks.
to the right of it.
Okay.
And
So
it's-
we went up the road, sort of like the trail, but it looked like it's a service road up through there. Maybe get to it,
yeah, I'm
but
sure,
it, trees across the
Yeah.
road and everything.
maybe nobody's been up there.
Nobody's
Well, I
been up
haven't.
Yeah, it's up on the mill house trail up to the right, the
Oh.
big well houses. There's two huge ones.
And the cistern was down in the ground, stone, and it had just a little low wooden roof over it.
Yeah, is the new system a seal system?
It's above ground tanks, two
Seal tanks?
30,000 gallon tanks.
The one that they had, you had a door that you opened the latch and you opened the door, and you could see in there. And it's just a huge building, well, not a huge building, it's a big building full of water.
Oh,
All right, this
I
is my
remember
grandpa.
Back in about 85 or so, there was a break in the water line,
Yeah,
and the buildings and grounds folks found a diagram of the water system that your grandfather drew
okay,
oh,
in the back of a desk drawer up in one of the buildings up
What
there.
about
I
that?
don't, it was a really neat thing, and I
He
don't
could
know-
really draw good.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still around, I mean, I
I
have
hope
no
so.
idea, it may well be lost, but it saved an awful lot of work, I tell you, because nobody else knew where the water lines were,
Yeah.
and there it was, and he had drawn it all out.
Yeah.
He knew where every one of them was at.
Yeah.
This is my grandpa working at the blacksmith
You know
shop.
what he's working on right there? Anybody can identify from that picture?
What is that?
If you're a farmer, you ought to, that's a cedar, that's an old-timey cedar.
Huh.
Grass cedar,
Oh,
see all them spring loaded
Yeah.
things, that
Yeah.
the wheels turn, pop them seeds out, as he rolls.
Yeah.
look how young he is. He's-
That, 1933,
Yeah,
and the last one's 1955. But you know, he died at 93 years old, and
wow.
he just didn't look that different to me when he
Yeah.
What's
died.
the difference in them pictures?
Yeah, he just never aged.
He never ate.
Never aged. This is him again. He looks like he's 10 feet tall there.
Yeah. How about that?
Any of the rest?
Yeah.
How about that?
This is some of his work.
Yeah.
He taught me how to make those things. He said when he started with the folk school, he wasn't a blacksmith. His daddy was, but I don't have
Huh.
much he done other than just shoeing horses or something like that. But he was using hoe handles, the part that holds the wooden on, to make the candle. And he said that's getting pretty expensive, you know, buying hose. So he had to figure out how to make hose or the thing that the candle goes in, what would you call it, the cradle or whatever. Anyway, he had to figure out how to make them, and
Candle holder.
candle holder, he put it down on paper how to do it. And once he made a few, you know, he gave in his mind how to do it, and he never needed it again. This is an old steel wheel tractor that my grandpa was using over here. I remember him talking about it.
Yeah.
This is him and his blacksmith, and Hollis Penland and George Beestrup. I knew Hollis and George.
Huh.
Went to school with Hollis's son. If I'm not mistaken, this head here, this is a bust of George Beestrup. And I remember seeing one in his house, and it was probably that one there, I bet.
Which one's Jeff? Well, there's Jeff. That's a little picture.
That must be
Which one's
him
Jeff
to the
up
right,
That's Murray Martin and
Murray Stanley.
Jack Carpenter.
standing with Jack.
Do what?
So she is right behind Jack.
Yeah, that's Murray.
Yeah, and Jack is next to
Yeah.
her, and this other boy is,
Don't know who he is.
well, what does it say? Wallace Massey.
Oh, I just now, I don't know Wallace Massey.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just now saw that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, Jack just.
Murray's name wasn't spelled, I'm not mispronouncing it, it was spelled M-U-R-R-A-Y.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, but if it was M-A-R-Y, I'd still say Murray, because that's the way we grew up here in
Yeah,
Brasstown. My
Murray.
sister's name's Murray, but it's spelled with an A.
M-A-R-Y.
Yeah. And this is Jack, 1993 it looks like. I knew Jack well. He just passed away here a month or so ago. This is Alice Tipton in the kitchen. Alice was Bill Tipton's mama, married to Cecil Tipton, and I'm going to show you a picture of Cecil here right now. That's Cecil with a cigarette.
Yeah,
And Cecil was kind of the handyman over here at school. About anything that needed to be done, you know, Cecil could do. One summer when I worked over here, we put a shower down there in the old building that's got the water wheel on it.
the mill house,
Mill house. I couldn't remember that name. This is Bent Teams.
yeah.
Bent worked over here. He's related to me.
Well, the story is that Ben has been seen here in the old kitchen over the years. You ever heard that?
No.
He visits the kitchen?
He visits the kitchen.
Yeah.
Is that because he visited a lot when he was working and got food or something?
Who was it? Suzanne Delorier.
Yeah.
told me that she had a square on the Bible. She saw him down there in the old kitchen.
I believe that. You have to believe, Susan. Then, well, it happens.
Yeah.
Ben was he was a, I don't know what relative of mine, but he had come over to spend the night, and he was scared of the dark,
Yeah.
and they'd get a lightning bug in the bedroom, and he wasn't sleeping when he was scared to death.
How about that? We have to stop a little time. Bet teams.
We're gonna have to quit.
We need to wind it up, folks.
We talked enough.
We were just
Okay, we've got more pictures, but nothing big. We'll just go ahead and wind it up. I've enjoyed it. Appreciate y'all listening and adding to it.
This little program was PG-13. Pretty good for 13 minutes. If you ask us back, we'll do better the next time. Promise we won't tell the same thing.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.